बाहर टॉवेल होगा, टॉवेल।
संसार दावानललीडलोका त्रणाय कारुण्य घनाघनात्वं प्राप्तस्य कल्याण गुणार्णवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दा महाप्रभु कीर्तन नृत्य गीता वादित्रमाद्यन् मनसोरसेन रोमाञ्चकं पाशुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दा श्रीविग्रहाराधननित्यनाना शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमार्जनादो युक्तस्य भक्तांश्च नियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दा चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसादो स्वाद्वन्नतृप्तान् हरिभक्तिसङ्घान् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजता सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दा श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्ना प्रतीक्षणास्वादनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दा निकुञ्जयोनरतिकेलिसिद्ध्यै यायालिभिर्योक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्र तिदाक्षादतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दा साक्षाद्धरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भाव्यतैव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभुर्या प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दा यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत् प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायन् सुवंसस्य यशस्त्रिसन्ध्यां वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं 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 नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशे तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रह्लादलाददायिने हिरण्यकशिपुर्वक्षः शिलटङ्कानकालये इतो नृसिंह परतो नृसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नृसिंह बहिर्नृसिंह हृदये नृसिंह नृसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरेणकामद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नृसिंहदेव नृसिंहदेव जय नृसिंहदेव जय प्रह्लाद महाराज जय प्रह्लाद महाराज वृंदाय तुलसी देव्य प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसी देव्य प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वृंदायै तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्ते प्रदेवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः। राधा कृष्ण सेवा पाबो এই अभिलाषी যে তোমার শরণ লয় তারা বাঞ্ছা পূর্ণ হয়। কৃপা করি কর তারে বৃন্দাবনবাসী মোরা এই अभिलाष विलास कुंजे दियो वास नयने हरिबो सदा जुगल रूप राशि এই নিবেদন ধরো সখীর অনুগত করো সেবাধিকার দিয়ে কর নিজ দাসী दीन कृष्ण दासे कये न मुरा होय श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदाय न भासी यानी कानी चाप पानी ब्रह्मा अत्यधिकानी च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानी कानि चाप पानी ब्रह्मा अत्यधिकानी च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानी कानि च पापानि ब्रह्म अत्यधिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare। जय तुलसी महारानी जय वृंदे देवी तुलसी महारानी जय वृंदे देवी। वृंदाय तुलसी देव्यै प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देव्यै प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देव्यै प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। कृष्ण में प्रदायिनी तुलसी देवी महारानी की।
क्या पढ़ेंगे? क्लास में जो चल रहा है ना उसको दो रिलैक्स मारो।
6 chapter first verse कर लो
6
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 6, Text number 1. Chapter titled as The Progeny of the Daughters of Daksha. Chapter description. As described in this chapter, Prajapati Daksha begot 60 daughters in the womb of his wife Ashikni. These daughters were given in charity to various persons to increase the population. Since these offsprings of Daksha were women, Narad Muni did not try to lead them toward the renounced order of life. Thus the daughters were saved from Narad Muni. 10 of the daughters were given in marriage to Dharmaraj, 13 to Kashyap Muni, and 27 to the moon god Chandra. In this way, 50 daughters were distributed. And of the other 10 daughters, 4 were given to Kashyap and 2 each to Bhuta, Angira, and Krashashva. One should know that it is because of the union of these 60 daughters with various exalted personalities that the entire universe was filled with various kinds of living entities such as human beings, demigods, demons, beasts, birds, and serpents. Text number 1. Translation. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, My dear king, thereafter, at the request of Lord Brahma, Prajapati Daksha, who is known as Prachetas, begot 60 daughters in the womb of his wife Ashikni. All the daughters were very affectionate towards their father. Purport also?
Yeah.
Purport. After the incidents concerning the loss of his many sons, Daksha repented his misunderstanding with Narad Muni. Lord Brahma then saw Daksha and instructed him to beget children again. This time Daksha was very cautious to beget female children instead of male children so that Narad Muni would not disturb them by urging them to accept the renounced order. Females are not meant for the renounced order of life. They should be faithful to their good husbands, for if a husband is competent for liberation, his wife will also achieve liberation with him. As stated in the Shastra, the results of a husband's pious activities are shared by his wife. Therefore, a woman's duty is to be very chaste and faithful to her husband. Then without separate endeavor, she will share in all the profit the husband earns. Text 2. He gave then daughters in charity to Dharmaraj, Yamaraj, 13 to Kashyap, 10 daughters to Dharmaraj, 13 to Kashyap, first 12 and then one more, 27 to the moon god and 2 each to Angira, Krashashva and Bhuta. The other 4 daughters were given to Kashyap. Thus Kashyap received 17 daughters in all. Text 3. Now please hear from me the names of all these daughters and their descendants who filled all the 3 worlds. The 10 daughters given to Yamaraj were named Bhanu, Lamba, Kakud, Yami, Vishwa, Sadhya, Marutvati, Vasu, Muhurta and Sankalpa. Now hear the names of their sons. O king, a son named Dev Rishabh was born from the womb of Bhanu, and from him came a son named Indrasen. From the womb of Lamba came a son named Vidyota, who generated all the clouds. Text 6. From the womb of Kakuda came the son named Sankat, whose son was named Kikat. From Kikat came the demigods named Durga. From Yami came the son named Swarga, whose son was named Nandi. The sons of Vishwa were the Vishwadevas, who had no progeny. From the womb of Sandhya came the Sandhyas, who had a son named Arth Siddhi. The two sons who took birth from the womb of Marutvati were Marutwan and Jayant. Jayant, who is an expansion of Lord Vasudev, is known as Upendra. Text 9. The demigods named the Muhurtikas took birth from the womb of Muhurta. These demigods deliver the results of action to the living entities of their respective times. Text 10-11. The son of Sankalpa was known as Sankalp, and from him lust was born. The son of Vasu were known as 8 Vasus. Just hear their names from me. Drona, Prana, Dhruva, Arka, Agni, Dosha, Vastu and Vibhavasu. From Abhimati, the wife of the Vasu named Drona, were generated the sons named Harsha, Shoka, Bhay and so on. Text 12. Urjaswati, the wife of Prana, gave birth to 3 sons named Saha, Ayush and Purojav. The wife of Dhruva was known as Dharani, and from her womb various cities took birth. Text 13. From the womb of Vasana, the wife of Arka, came many sons headed by Tarsha. Dhara, the wife of Vasu named Agni, gave birth to many sons headed by Dravinak. From Kritika, another wife of Agni, came the son named Skand Kartikeya, whose sons were headed by Vishakha. From the womb of Sarvari, the wife of Vasu named Dosha, came the son named Shishumara, who was an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 15. From Angirashi, the wife of Vasu named Vastu, was born the great architect Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma became the husband of Akriti, from whom the Manu named Chakshush Manu was born. The sons of Manu were known as the Vishwadevas and Sadhyas. 16. Usha, the wife of Vibhavasu, gave birth to 3 sons, Vyushta, Rochisa and Atapa. From Atapa came Panchayam, the span of day, who awakens all living entities to material activities. 17-18. Sarup, the wife of Bhuta, gave birth to 10 million Rudras, of whom the 11 principal Rudras were Raivat, Aja, Bhava, Bhima, Vama, Ugra, Vrishakapi, Ajay Kapat, Ahir Bradhna, Bahurup and Mahan. Their associates, the ghosts and goblins, who are very fearful, were born of the other wife of Bhuta. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that Bhuta had 2 wives. One of them, Sarupa, gave birth to 11 Rudras. Another wife gave birth to the associates of Rudras, known as ghosts and hobgoblins. Text 19. The Prajapati Angira had 2 wives, named Swadha and Sati. The wife named Swadha accepted all the Pitas as her sons, and Sati accepted the Arthavangira's Veda as her son. Krishashu had 2 wives named Archis and Dhishana. In the wife named Archis he begot Dhumketu, and in Dhishana he begot 4 sons named Vedashira, Deval, Vayun and Manu. Text 21-22. Kashyap, who is also named Tarkashya, had 4 wives: Vinata, Suparna, Kudra, Kadru, Patangi, and Yamini. Vinata, Kadru, Patangi, and Yamini. Patangi gave birth to many kinds of birds, and Yamini gave birth to locusts. Vinata gave birth to Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, and to Anuru or Aruna, the chariot drivers of the sun god. Kadru gave birth to different varieties of serpents. Text 23. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Bharatas, the constellations named Kritika were all wives of the moon god. However, because Prajapati Daksha had cursed him to suffer from a disease causing gradual destruction, the moon god could not beget children in any of his wives. Purport. Because the moon god was very much attached to Rohini, he neglected all his other wives. Therefore, seeing the bereavement of these daughters, Prajapati Daksha became angry and cursed him. Text 24-26. Thereafter, the king of the moon pacified Prajapati Daksha with courteous words and thus regained the portions of light he had lost during his disease. Nevertheless, he could not beget children. The moon loses his shining power during the dark fortnight, and in the bright fortnight it is manifest again. O King Parikshit, now please hear from me the names of Kashyapa's wives, from whose homes the population of the entire universe has come. They are the mothers of almost all the population of the entire universe, and their names are very auspicious to hear. They are Aditi, Diti, Danu, Kashtha, Arishtha, Sursa, Ila, Muni, Krodhavash, Tamra, Surbhi, Sarma, and Timi. From the womb of Timi, all the aquatics took birth, and from the womb of Sarma, the ferocious animals like the tigers and lions took birth. Text 27. My dear King Parikshit, from the womb of Surabhi, the buffalo, cow, and other animals with cloven hooves took birth. From the womb of Tamra, the eagles, vultures, and other large birds of prey took birth. And from the womb of Muni, the angels took birth. Text 28. The sons born of Krodhvash were the serpents known as Dandshuka, as well as other serpents and the mosquitoes. All the various creepers and trees were born from the womb of Ila. The Rakshasas, bad spirits, were born from the womb of Sursa. The Gandharvas were born from the womb of Arishta, and the animals whose hoofs are not split, such as the horses, were born from the womb of Kashtha. O king, from the womb of Danu came 61 sons, of whom these 18 were very important: Dvimurdh, Shambra, Arishta, Haigriv, Vibhavasu, Ayomukha, Shankushira, Swarbhanu, Kapila, Aruna, Puloma, Vrashparva, Ekchakra, Anutapan, Dhumrakesh, Virupaksh, Viprachitti, and Durjay. The daughter of Swarbhanu, named Suprabha, was married to Namuchi. The daughter of Vrishparva, named Sharmishtha, was given to powerful king Yayati, the son of Nahush. Text 33-36. Vaishwanara, the son of Danu, had 4 beautiful daughters named Updanavi, Hayashira, Puloma, and Kalaka. Hiranyaksh married Updanavi, and Kratu married Hayashira. Thereafter, at the request of Lord Brahma, Prajapati Kashyap married Puloma and Kalaka, the other 2 daughters of Vaishwanara. From the wombs of these 2 wives of Kashyap came 60,000 sons, headed by Nivat Kavach, who are known as the Pulomas and the Kalakeyas. They were physically very strong and expert in fighting, and their aim was to disturb the sacrifices performed by the great sages. My dear king, when your grandfather Arjuna went to the heavenly planets, he alone killed all these demons, and thus King Indra became extremely affectionate towards him. Text 37. In his wife Simhika, Viprachitti begot 101 sons, of whom the eldest is Rahu and the others are the 100 Ketus. All of them attained positions in the influential planets. Text 38-39. Now please hear from me as I describe the descendants of Aditi in chronological order. In this dynasty, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, descended by his planetary expansion. The names of the sons of Aditi are as follows: Vivaswan, Aryama, Pusa, Twashta, Savita, Bhag, Dhata, Vidhata, Varun, Mitra, Shatru, and Urukram. Text 40. Samya, the wife of Vivaswan, the sun god, gave birth to the Manu named Shraddhadev, and the same fortunate wife also gave birth to the twins Yamaraj and the river Yamuna. Then Yami, while wandering on the earth in the form of a mare, gave birth to the Ashwini Kumaras. Chhaya, another wife of the sun god, begot two sons named Shanishchar and Sarvani Manu, and the one daughter Tapti, who married Samvarna. From the womb of Matraka, the wife of Aryama, were born many learned scholars. Among them, Lord Brahma created the human species, which are endowed with an appetite, with an aptitude for self-examination. Pusa had no sons. When Lord Shiva was angry at Daksha, Pusa had laughed at Lord Shiva and shown his teeth. Therefore, he lost his teeth and had to live by eating only ground floor. Rachna, the daughter of Daityas, became the wife of Prajapati Twasta. By his semina, he begot in her womb two very powerful sons named Shanivesh and Vishwarup. Although Vishwarup was the son of daughter of their eternal enemies, the demons, the demigods accepted him as their priest in accordance with the order of Brahma when they were abandoned by their spiritual master Brihaspati, whom they had disrespected. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 6th canto, 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Progeny of the Daughters of Daksha.
Next.
Chapter 7. Indra offends his spiritual master Brihaspati. Chapter summary. As related in this chapter, Indra, the king of heaven, committed an offense at the feet of his spiritual master Brihaspati. Brihaspati therefore left the demigods, who then had no priest. However, at the request of the demigods, Vishwarupa, the son of the Brahma, the Brahmana Twashta, became their priest. Twashta. Once upon a time, Indra, the king of the demigods, was sitting with his wife Shachi Devi and being praised by various demigods like the Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, when Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods, entered the assembly. Indra, being too absorbed in material opulence, forgot himself and did not respect Brihaspati, who thus became aware of Indra's pride in his material opulence and immediately disappeared from the assembly to teach him a lesson. Indra became most repentant, understanding that because of his opulence, he had forgotten to respect his spiritual master. He left the palace to beg pardon from his spiritual master, but could not find Brihaspati anywhere. Because of his disrespectful behavior towards his spiritual master, Indra lost all his opulence and was conquered by the demons, who defeated the demigods in a great fight and occupied Indra's throne. King Indra, along with the other demigods, later took shelter of Lord Brahma. Understanding the situation, Lord Brahma chastised the demigods for their offense to their spiritual master. Following Lord Brahma's orders, the demigods accepted Vishwarupa, who was a Brahmana and the son of Twashta, as their priest. Then they performed yajnas under the priesthood of Vishwarupa and were able to conquer the demons. Text 1. Translation. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Shukadev Goswami, O great sage, why did the spiritual master of the demigod Brihaspati rejects the demigods who were his own disciples? What offense did the demigods commit against their spiritual master? Please describe to me this incident. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, Saptame Guruna Tyaktair Devair Daitya Prajajite Vishwarupo Gurutvena Vritto Brahmo Padeshataha. This 7th chapter described how Brihaspati was offended by the demigods, how he left them and the demigods were defeated, and how the demigods, following the instructions of Lord Brahma, accepted Vishwarupa as the priest to perform their sacrifices. Text 2 to 8. Translation. Shukadeva Goswami said, O king, once upon a time, the king of heaven Indra, being extremely proud because of his great opulence of the 3 words, transgressed the laws of Vedic etiquette. Seated on his throne, he was surrounded by the Marutas, Vasus, Rudras, Adityas, Ribhus, Vishwadevas, Sandhyas, Ashwini Kumaras, Siddhas, Charanas and Gandharvas, and by great saintly persons. Also surrounding him were the Vidyadharas, Apsaras, Kinnaras, Patangas and Urgas. All of them were offering Indra their respects and services, and the Apsaras and Gandharvas were dancing and singing with very sweet musical instruments. Over Indra's head was a white umbrella as effulgent as the full moon, fanned by the yak-tail whisks and served with all the paraphernalia of a great king. Indra was sitting with his wife Sachi Devi, who occupied half the throne when the great sage Brihaspati appeared in that assembly. Brihaspati, the best of the sages, was the spiritual master of Indra and the demigods, and was respected by the demigods and demons alike. Nevertheless, although Indra saw his spiritual master before him, he did not rise from his own seat or offer a seat to his spiritual master. Nor did Indra offer him a respectful welcome. Indra did nothing to show him respect. Text 9. Brihaspati knew everything that would happen in the future. Seeing Indra's transgression of etiquette, he completely understood that Indra was puffed up by his material opulence. Although able to curse Indra, he did not do so. Instead, he left the assembly and in silence returned to his home. Text 10. Indra, the king of heaven, could immediately understand his mistake. Realizing he had disrespected his spiritual master, he condemned himself in the presence of all the members of the assembly. Alas, what a regrettable deed I have committed because of my lack of intelligence and my pride in my material opulence. I failed to show respect to my spiritual master when he entered this assembly, and thus I have insulted him. Text 12. Although I am a king of the demigods who are situated in the mode of goodness, I was proud of a little opulence and polluted by false ego. Under the circumstances, who in this world would accept such riches at the risk of falling down? Alas, I condemn my wealth and opulence. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. O my Lord, I do not aspire for material opulence or wealth, nor do I want a great number of followers to accept me as their leaders, nor do I want a very beautiful wife to please me. Mam janmani shware bhavatad bhaktir ahetuki toi. I do not even want liberation, All I want, life after life, is to be a faithful servant of your Lordship. According to the laws of nature, when one is extremely opulent, one becomes degraded. And this is true both individually and collectively. The demigods are situated in the mode of goodness, but sometimes even one who is situated in such an exalted position as King Indra, the king of all the demigods, falls down because of material opulence. We are now actually seeing this in America. The entire American nation had tried to advance in material opulence without striving to produce ideal human beings. The result is that Americans are now regretting the wholesale criminality of American society and are wondering how America has become so lawless and unmanageable. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.31, Nate viduh swarth gatim hi Vishnu. Persons who are unenlightened do not know the aim of life, which is to return home back to Godhead. Therefore, both individually and collectively, they try to enjoy so-called material comforts, and they become addicted to wine and women. The men produced in such a society are less than fourth class. They are the unwanted population known as Varna Shankara, and as stated in Bhagavad Gita, an increase of Varna Shankara population creates a hellish society. This is the society in which Americans now find themselves. Fortunately, however, the Hare Krishna movement has come to America, and many fortunate young men are giving serious attention to this movement, which is creating ideal men of first class character, men who completely refrain from meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, and gambling. If the American people are serious about curbing the degraded criminal life of their nation, they must take to the Krishna conscious movement and try to create the kind of human society advised in Bhagavad Gita. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagasaha. They must divide their society into first class men, second class men, third class men, and fourth class men. Since they are now creating only men who are less than fourth class, how can they avoid the dangers of a criminal society? Long, long ago, Lord Indra regretted his disrespect to his spiritual master Brihaspati. Similarly, it is advised that the American people regret their mistaken advancement in civilization. They should take advice from the spiritual master, the representative of Krishna. If they do so, they'll be happy and theirs will be an ideal nation to lead the entire world. Text 13. If a person says, one who is situated on the exalted throne of a king should not stand up to show respect to another king or a Brahmana, it is to be understood that he does not know the superior religious principles. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in this regard that when a president or king is sitting on his throne, he does not need to show respect to everyone who comes within his assembly. But he must show respect to superiors like his spiritual master, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. There are many examples of how he should act. When Lord Krishna was sitting on his throne and Narada fortunately entered his assembly, even Lord Krishna immediately stood up with his officers and ministers to offer respectful obeisances to Narada. Narada knew that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna knew that Narada was his devotee. But although Krishna is the Supreme Lord and Narada is the Lord's devotee, the Lord observed the religious etiquette. Since Narada was a brahmachari, a brahmana, and an exalted devotee, even Krishna, while acting as a king, offered his respectful obeisances unto Narada. Such is the conduct visible in the Vedic civilization. A civilization in which the people do not know how the representative of Narada and Krishna should be respected, how society should be formed, and how one should advance in Krishna consciousness. A society concerned only with manufacturing new cars and new skyscrapers every year and then breaking them to pieces and making new ones may be technologically advanced, but it is not a human civilization. A human civilization is advanced when its people follow the Chaturvarnya system, the system of four orders of life. They must be ideal first class men to act as advisors, second class men to act as administrators, third class men to produce food and protect cows, and the fourth class men who obey the three higher classes of society. One who does not follow the standard system of society should be considered a fifth class man. A society without Vedic laws and regulations will not be very helpful to humanity. As stated in this verse, Dharmam tena param vidhu. Such a society does not know the aim of life and the highest principle of religion. Text 14. Leaders who have fallen into ignorance and who mislead people by directing them to the path of destruction, as described in the previous verses, are in effect boarding a stone boat, and so too are those who blindly follow them. A stone boat would be unable to float and would sink in the water with its passengers. Similarly, those who mislead people go to hell and their followers go with them. Purport. As stated in the Vedic literature, Bhagavatam 11:20-17, Nridehamadyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam. We, the conditioned souls, have fallen in the ocean of nescience, but the human body fortunately provides us a good opportunity to cross the ocean because the human body is like a very good boat. When directed by a spiritual master acting as the captain, the boat can very easily cross the ocean. Furthermore, the boat is helped across by favorable winds, which are the instructions of Vedic knowledge. If one does not take advantage of all these facilities to cross the ocean of nescience, he is certainly committing suicide. One who boards a boat made of stone is doomed. To be elevated to the stage of perfection, humanity must first give up false leaders who present boats of stones. All of human society is in such a dangerous position that to be rescued, it must abide by the standard instructions of the Vedas. The cream of these instructions appears in the form of Bhagavad Gita. One should not take shelter of any other instructions, for Bhagavad Gita gives direct instructions on how to fulfill the aim of human life. Lord Sri Krishna therefore says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Give up all other processes of religion and simply surrender to me. Even if one does not accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his instructions are so exalted and beneficial for humanity that if one follows his instructions, one will be saved. Otherwise, one will be cheated by unauthorized meditation and gymnastic methods of yoga. Thus, one will board a boat of stone which will sink and drown all its passengers. Unfortunately, although the American people are extremely eager to get out of materialistic chaos, they are sometimes found to patronize the makers of stone boats. That will not help them. They must take the proper boat offered by Krishna in the form of Krishna consciousness movement. Then they will be easily saved. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, in society, if society is guided by political diplomacy, with one nation maneuvering against another, it will certainly sink like a stone boat. Political maneuvering and diplomacy will not save human society. People must take to Krishna consciousness to understand the aim of life, to understand God, and to fulfill the human mission. Text 15. King Indra said, Therefore, with great frankness and without duplicity, I shall now bow my head at the lotus feet of Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods. Because he is in the mode of goodness, he is fully aware of all knowledge and is the best of all the Brahmanas. Now I shall touch his lotus feet and offer my obeisances unto him to try to satisfy him. Purport. Coming to his senses, King Indra realized that he was not a very sincere disciple of his spiritual master Brihaspati. Therefore, he decided that henceforward, he would be nishat, non-duplicious. Nishatha shirsana tacharanam sparshan. He decided to touch his head to the feet of his spiritual master. From this example, we should learn this principle enunciated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Yasya prasadad bhagvat prasado, yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. A disciple should never be a hypocrite or be unfaithful to his spiritual master. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11:17-27, the spiritual master is also called Acharya. Acharya Mam Vijaniyan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead says that one should respect the spiritual master, accepting him as the Lord himself. Nav manyet karhichit. One should not disrespect the Acharya at any time. Na martya buddhaya syute. One should never think that the Acharya is an ordinary person. Familiarity sometimes breeds contempt, but one should be very careful in one's dealing with the Acharya. Agadhishanam dvijam. The Acharya is a perfect Brahmana and has unlimited intelligence in guiding the activities of his disciple. Therefore, Krishna advised in Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. One should fully surrender unto the spiritual master, and with service, sevaya, one should approach him for further spiritual enlightenment. Text 16. While Indra, the king of the demigods, thought in this way and repented in his own assembly, Brihaspati, the most powerful spiritual master, understood his mind. Thus he became invisible to Indra and left home, for Brihaspati was spiritually more powerful than King Indra. Text 17. Although Indra searched vigorously with the assistance of the other demigods, he could not find Brihaspati. Then Indra thought, alas, my spiritual master has become dissatisfied with me, and now I have no means of achieving good fortune. Although Indra was surrounded by demigods, he could not find peace of mind. Hearing of the pitiable condition of King Indra, the demons, following the instructions of their guru, Shukracharya, equipped themselves with weapons and declared war against the demigods. The demigods' heads, thighs and arms, and the other parts of their bodies were injured by the sharp arrows of the demons. The demigods, headed by Indra, saw no other cause than to immediately approach Lord Brahma with bowed heads for shelter and proper instruction. Text 20. When the most powerful Lord Brahma saw the demigods coming toward him, their bodies gravely injured by the arrows of the demons, he pacified them by his great causeless mercy and spoke as follows. Text 21. Lord Brahma said, O best of the demigods, unfortunately, because of madness resulting from your material opulence, you failed to receive Brihaspati properly when he came to your assembly. Because he is aware of the Supreme Brahman and fully in control of his senses, he is the best of the Brahmanas. Therefore, it is very astonishing that you have acted impudently toward him. Purport. Lord Brahma recognized the Brahmanical qualification of Brihaspati who was the spiritual master of the demigods because of his awareness of the supreme Brahman. Brihaspati was very much in control of his senses and mind, and therefore he was the most qualified Brahmana. Lord Brahma chastised the demigod for not properly respecting this Brahmana who was their guru. Lord Brahma wanted to impress upon the demigods that one's guru should not be disrespected under any circumstances. When Brihaspati entered the assembly of the demigods, they and their king Indra took him for granted. Since he came every day, they thought they did not need to show him special respect. As it is said, familiarity breeds contempt. Being very much displeased, Brihaspati immediately left Indra's palace. Thus all the demigods headed by Indra became offenders at the lotus feet of Brihaspati, and Lord Brahma, being aware of this, condemned their neglect. In a song we sing every day, Narottam Das Thakur says, Chakshudan dil jai, janme janme prabhu sei. The Guru gives a spiritual insight to the disciple, and therefore the Guru should be considered his master life after life. Under no circumstances should the Guru be disrespected, but the demigods, being puffed up by their material possessions, were disrespectful to their Guru. Therefore Srimad Bhagavatam advises, Acharya mam vijaniya nav manyet karhichit na martya buddhya syujeta. The Acharya should always be offered respectful obeisances. One should never envy the Acharya, considering him as an ordinary human being. Text 22. Because of your misbehavior towards Brihaspati, you have been defeated by the demons. My dear demigods, since the demons were weak, having been defeated by you several times, how else could you, who were so advanced in opulence, be defeated by them? Purport. The Devas are celebrated for fighting with the Asuras perpetually. In such fights, the Asuras were always defeated. But this time the demigods were defeated. Why? The reason, as stated here, was that they have offended their spiritual master. Their impudent disrespect of their spiritual master was the cause of their defeat. As stated in the Shastras, when one disrespects a respectable superior, one loses his longevity and the results of his pious activities, and in this way one is degraded. Page 23. O Indra, your enemies, the demons, were extremely weak because of their disrespect towards Shukracharya, but since they have now worshipped Shukracharya with great devotion, they have again become powerful. By their devotion to Shukracharya, they have increased their strength so much that now they are even able to easily seize my ado from me. Purport. Lord Brahma wanted to point out to the demigods that by the strength of the Guru, one can become most powerful within this world, and by the displeasure of the Guru, one can lose everything. This is confirmed by the song of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Yasya prasadad bhagvat prasado, Yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Although the demons are insignificant in comparison to Lord Brahma, because of the strength of their Guru, they were so powerful that they could even seize Brahmaloka from Lord Brahma. We therefore pray to the spiritual master, Mukam karoti vachalam, Pangum langhayate girim, Yat kripatamaham vande, Shri Gurum dinatarinam. By the mercy of the Guru, even a dumb man can become the greatest orator, or even a lame man can cross mountains. As advised by Lord Brahma, one should remember this Shastric injunction if one desires success in his life. Text 24. Because of their firm determination to follow the instructions of Shukracharya, his disciples, the demons, are now unconcerned about the demigods. In fact, kings or others who have determined faith in the mercy of Brahmanas, cows, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and who always worship these three, are always strong in their position. Purport. From the instructions of Lord Brahma, it is understood that everyone should very faithfully worship the Brahmanas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the cows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. He is always very kind to cows and Brahmanas. Therefore, one who worships Govinda must satisfy him by worshipping the Brahmanas and cows. If a government worships the Brahmanas, the cows and Krishna, Govinda, it is never defeated anywhere. Otherwise, it must always be defeated and condemned everywhere. At the present moment, all over the world, governments have no respect for Brahmanas, cows, and Govinda, and are consequently there are chaotic conditions all over the world. In summary, although the demigods were very powerful in material opulence, the demons defeated them in battle because the demigods had behaved disrespectfully towards a Brahmana Brihaspati who was their spiritual master. Text 25. O demigods, I instruct you to approach Vishwarupa, the son of Twashta, and accept him as your guru. He is a pure and very powerful Brahmana, undergoing austerities and penances. Pleased by your worship, he will fulfill your desires, provided that you tolerate his being inclined to side with the demons. Purport. Lord Brahma advised the demigods to accept the sons of Twashta as their spiritual master, although he was always inclined toward the benefit of the Asuras. Text 26. Srila Sukdev Goswami continued, thus advised by Lord Brahma and revealed and relieved of their anxiety, all the demigods went to the sage Vishwarupa, the son of Twashta, my dear king. They embraced him and spoke as follows. The demigod said, Beloved Vishwarupa, may there be all good fortune for you. We, the demigods, have come to your ashram as your guests. Please try to fulfill our desires according to the time, since we are on the level of your parents. O Brahmana, the highest duty of a son, even though he has sons of his own, is to serve his parents, and what to speak of a son who is a brahmachari. Text 29 to 30. The Acharya, the spiritual master who teaches all the Vedic knowledge and gives initiation by offering the sacred thread, is the personification of the Vedas. Similarly, a father personifies Lord Brahma, a brother King Indra, a mother the planet Earth, and a sister Mercy. A guest personifies religious principles, an invited guest personifies the demigod Agni, and all living entities personified Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to the moral instructions of Chanakya Pandit, Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu, one should observe all living entities to be on the same level as oneself. This means that no one should be neglected as inferior, because Paramatma is seated in everyone's body. Everyone should be respected as a temple of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This verse describes the different ways in which one should respect a guru, a father, a brother, a sister, a guest, and so on. Text 31. Dear son, we have been defeated by our enemies, and therefore we are very much aggrieved. Please mercifully fulfill our desires by relieving our distress through the strength of your austerities. Please fulfill our prayers. Since you are completely aware of the Supreme Brahman, you are a perfect Brahmana, and therefore you are the spiritual master of all orders of life. We accept you as our spiritual master and director, so that by the power of your austerity, we may easily defeat the enemies who have conquered us. Purport. One must approach a particular type of guru to to execute a particular type of duty. Therefore, although Vishwarupa was inferior to the demigods accepted him as their guru to conquer the demons. Text 33. The demigods continued, "Do not fear criticism for being younger than us. Such etiquette does not apply in regard to Vedic mantras. Except in the relationship to Vedic mantras, seniority is determined by age. But one may offer respectful obeisances even to a younger person who is advanced in chanting Vedic mantras. Therefore, although you are junior in relationship to us, you may become our priest without hesitation." Purport. It is said, "Vridhatvam vayasa vina." One may be senior without being advanced in age. Even if one is not old, one gains seniority if he is senior in knowledge. Vishwarupa was junior in relationship to the demigods because he was their nephew, but the demigods wanted to accept him as their priest, and therefore he would have to accept obeisances from them. The demigods explained that this should not be a cause of hesitation. He could become their priest because he was advanced in Vedic knowledge. Similarly, Chanakya Pandit advised, "Nichad api uttamam jnanam." One may accept education from a member of a lower social order. The Brahmanas, the members of the most elevated Varna, are teachers, but a person in a lower family, such as a family of Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, or even Shudras, may be accepted as a teacher if he has knowledge. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved of this when he expressed this opinion before Ramanand Rai. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 8.128. "Kiba vipra kiba nyasi shudra ke ne noy, yei Krishna tattva veta sei guru hoy." It does not matter whether one is Brahmana, Shudra, Grihastha or Sannyasi. These are all material designations. A spiritually advanced person has nothing to do with such designations. Therefore, if one is advanced in the science of Krishna consciousness, regardless of his position in human society, he may become a spiritual master. Text 34. Shukdev Goswami continued, "When all the demigods requested the great Vishwarupa to be their priest, Vishwarupa, who was advanced in austerities, was very pleased. He replied to them as follows." Translation. Sri Vishwarupa said, "O demigods, although the acceptance of priesthood is described as causing the loss of previously acquired Brahmanical power, how can someone like me refuse to accept your personal request? You are all exalted commanders of the entire universe. I am your disciple and must take many lessons from you. Therefore, I cannot refuse you. I must agree for my own benefit." Purport. The professions of a qualified Brahmana are Pathan, Pathan, Yajan, Yajan, Dan and Pratigraha. The words Yajna and Yajan and Yajan means that a Brahmana becomes the priest of the populace for the sake of their elevation. One who accepts the post of a spiritual master neutralizes the sinful reactions of the Yajman, the one on whose behalf he performs Yajna. Thus, the results of the pious acts previously performed by the priest or spiritual master are diminished. Therefore, priesthood is not accepted by learned Brahmanas. Nevertheless, the greatly learned Brahmanas Vishwarup become the priest of the demigods because of his profound respect for them. Yes, Guru Maharaj. Jai Srimad Bhagavatam. गुरु पूजा। श्री गुरु चरण पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा। श्री गुरु चरण पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा। वंदो मुई सावधान माते, वंदो मुई सावधान माते। याहार प्रसादे भाई हे भव तोरिया जा। कृष्णा प्राप्ति होए जहाँ होइते, कृष्णा प्राप्ति होए जहाँ होइते। गुरु मुख पद्मा वाक्या चिते ते कोरिया क्या। आर ना कोरिह मने आशा, आर ना कोरिह मने आशा। श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति। जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा, जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा। चक्षुदान दिल जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से, दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता। प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते, वेदे गाए जहाँ चरिता। श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु, लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना, लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना। हा हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया। हा हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया। हे बेयास घुषुक त्रिभुवाना, हे बेयास घुषुक त्रिभुवाना। श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु, श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु। लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना, लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना। हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया। हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया। हे बेयास घुषुक त्रिभुवाना, हे बेयास घुषुक त्रिभुवाना। श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावना, श्रीला प्रभुपाद लोइलो शरणा। जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा, श्रीला प्रभुपदा। जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा, श्रीला प्रभुपदा। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले, श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे, निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, जय महाराज की जय।
प्रभु जी हरे कृष्ण। ये भी इसमें अभी तो ठीक करना बाकी है। पूजा हुआ है।